my friends. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. I want to start off by saying I did not upload yesterday's video. I don't upload all of them, but I pretty much have been walking every day. Reasons for not uploading a video: either a technical issue, wrong camera setting, or the walk just really wasn't that good. Sometimes I'm not very talkative. Sometimes the conversation is kind of boring. Not that it isn't anyway. But, you know, this is a daily walking vlog. It's not a documentary. It's not entertainment. It's not, you know what I'm saying. It's more has to do with the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. Even though I was doing this before that movement. But anyway, today we're going to talk about President Trump, and it needs to be talked about. It does. And what needs to be talked about is is going down in polling. Not so much among Republicans, but among independents. On some issues, he's gone from 9% approval from Democrats to 5%, which you're probably saying, you know, well, that's not a big deal, but he's gone down from 39% among independents to 25%. Of course, that's according to an AP poll, but still, that's pretty alarming. And that has to do with the economy and chaos. Hey.
How you doing?
Pretty good. So that has to do with the economy, chaos, uncertainty. Coffee is expensive, other things are not. The price of gas has been going down, that's good. But, you know, it's... The reality is, inflation was very high with Joe Biden. It was really terrible. The media lied about it as much as they could. It didn't help them. People went and voted with their wallets. The economy was starting to improve under Biden. They made changes. Trump's got inflation stationary at about 3%, which is an amazing accomplishment. Don't get me wrong, but the problem is most people don't know that. Most people don't know what they've been doing. Most people don't know how that works. So when you're doing something and you're doing good things and most people don't know it, maybe it's time to change your messaging. Stop talking about tariffs. Stop talking about all this other stuff, which, you know, Trump loves doing that. He loves talking about his tariffs. They need to start talking about dinner table, bread and butter, meat and potatoes. They got to start telling the people things are going to be okay. and they're not doing that. And I'm being honest about it, they're not. And that's where those numbers are coming from. It's hard to feel good about the economy when a $13 can of coffee is now $26. So we don't make coffee here. There's no competitors. The coffee we do make here is made in California. It's very expensive. Premium coffee. So, in my opinion, they need to change things, because if things stay the way they are now, the numbers that they are now, we're not winning midterms. When you see the independent approval drop that much, that means voters are saying this isn't what I voted for. Also, voters are not happy with the immigration things that's being done. Many people feel not enough is being done. Some people feel like this is too much. So combining those two numbers is coming up with a disapproval. So they need to figure out what they need to do more of or less of. And then Trump going on TV on Laura Ingraham talking about H-1B visas. And then when asked, don't we have workers here that can do that? He says, no, we don't have skilled workers. Well, a lot of workers have taken that as an insult. And I understand what he meant, because he said it. But a lot of times his communication skills in interviews is not the best. And he sat there and said, well, you can't just take someone, basically saying that you can't just take them from a help wanted ad with no skills and put them in an assembly line building missiles. That's what he was saying. People need to be trained. Many of the high-tech jobs coming here and factories that are going to be opening is what he was talking about, and he didn't even say that in that interview. So what he was saying is, these factories that are going to be opening here, like Toyota is opening a new factory, all right? Here's the problem. How many auto workers that are trained do we have where Toyota is going to be building that plant? The answer is pretty much zero. They're going to have to get some people to leave, like GM. They're offered better money, better package. They're going to have to be enticed, okay? And people don't understand the logistics of that for a business. You're going to have to outbid your competitors for their employees. It gets expensive. When it would just be easier to get an H-1B visa and have somebody come here from Japan who already knows what they're doing. That's what Trump was saying. And of course, the MAGA movement went, oh my God, this is America last. He doesn't want American employees. What was the whole point of voting for him? So they have a messaging problem. They got to get somebody that can get the message out and explain this stuff. Now that's supposed to be the job of J.D. Vance, the vice president. He's supposed to go behind, do all these interviews and explain all these policies, which he has been. But the problem is the media doesn't cover it. So they have to come up with a way to get the message out. a messenger that people like and respect. So that's just my opinion. Also, I should just wrap that whole thing up with, a year from now, none of this is going to matter, because the one big beautiful bill is going to be just that, a one big beautiful bill that is going to take care of most of this economic angst people have. So, just my opinion. Now I got the camera mounted on my head, but every once in a while I'm going to stop recording with it and switch over to the backup, which records very well with selfie view. Makes my life easier, because when I'm not recording with it, I can just put it in my pocket and put the head cam back on. So we're going to swap over right now. All right, everybody. How are you? I swapped over to the selfie cam and the Picasso 4K camera, which I do like the video quality. So anyway, J.D. Vance, right now leading the pack. 29% of Republicans would vote for him. That's also among independents. (29% out of the field. Ron DeSantis has 9%, and other Republicans in the list as well. Also, I should mention, Polymarket has, if you had J.D. Vance against Gavin Newsom, J.D. Vance would win by 15 points. Even more than that if it was AOC. And I think that's pretty accurate. It's pretty clear that J.D. Vance is going to be the guy. Now, here's the problem with J.D. Vance. He has a... how should I put it? It's tough for any vice president to run for president, because you are under the shadow of your boss, Donald Trump. So J.D. Vance's numbers are going to fluctuate along with Trump's. If Trump's goes up, Vance's goes up. If Trump goes down, Vance's goes down. J.D. Vance is going to have to find a way to separate himself from Donald Trump, which obviously is not going to be easy. So, I just got done mentioning how important it is for the vice president to explain the president's policies. So, they're tied together. That's the problem Kamala Harris had. And she exacerbated it by being an idiot, giving bad answers, not knowing what she was doing. So you could argue that she would have lost anyway. How much did it really affect her to be tied to Joe Biden? Well, they had an unusual circumstance. Joe Biden was an incumbent until he wasn't. He said he was going to step aside. So that made a different situation. Then you had that 2 assassination attempts on Trump, which helped Trump. So J.D. Vance is going to have to find his own way in the universe with regard to politics in the Beltway. And now here's the problem with J.D. Vance. He's sharp as a tack, he's brilliant, very smart, and a lot of people look at him like he's kissing Trump's ass, to put it politely. He's always, yes sir, this policy is the best policy, President Trump is awesome. So he has kind of a yes man thing about him. So a lot of people are like, he's phony, disingenuous. So he gives off those vibes to some people. I'm not one of those. I don't believe that. He's a self-made guy. Comes from humble beginnings. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, well, he doesn't know who his father is, this and that, and his mother was a drug addict. He comes from a blue-collar nothing, basically. And he should be admired for that. And unfortunately in D.C., that's not how things work. I think it'll work with middle America. And I think a lot of people are underestimating the importance of being one of the folks. So, all he has to do is he's going to have the one big beautiful bill economically, which will help him. And he's going to have to find a way to communicate his own policies and agendas and separate himself from Trump. So, if Trump does badly, that helps J.D. Vance, because then he can do what Kamala did and separate himself. But at the same time, being grateful for the opportunity, yada, yada, yada. So this is all very interesting, because we're going to have to wait and see how things go with the one big beautiful bill. Now, if the one big beautiful bill or the economy doesn't do well, Republicans are cooked. They won't overcome that. And it's going to be a horror show. Because if you lose midterms on the economy, you may lose 2028 as well. So, the other thing I'm going to reiterate is everything is based on the economy. This election next year, midterms, is going to be the economy. Nobody's going to give a fuck about the Epstein files. Nobody's going to give a fuck about anything else. And I'm actually happy to see the Democrats embracing the Epstein rabbit hole. If they want to go down that rabbit hole, let them go. Because while they're doing that, they're not talking about the economy, and they're not talking about other things that matter to people. And again, I don't want to belittle victims, okay? There were victims, but you're starting to see certain Republicans go against the tariffs, go against the Trump agenda, and these are all people that have their eye on midterms next year and the presidency in 2028. Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Rand Paul. Those are three Republicans I can think of right now criticizing the current Trump agenda that they used to make a name for themselves. Now, politically, they're turning. Marjorie Taylor Greene She said recently if there was enough interest, she would run for president. So there you go. That explains her being a turncoat. There's a double-edged sword. The Trump agenda is going to work beautifully. The one big beautiful bill is going to do what it was advertised to do, and these people are going to have egg on their faces. It's just the way it is. Trump doesn't lose, okay? The one big beautiful bill, if you take the time to read it, is really excellent. It'll do a lot. And prices a year from now are going to go down. And the reason why it was important to get it passed early was if they waited until now, people aren't going to see the effects of it before midterms next year. And the Republicans knew that crafted the bill. They got it in a reconciliation package. That's why they did that. People are going to reap the benefits of it. Trump wants to get rid of the filibuster because they can pass a whole bunch of legislation that'll guarantee Republicans win midterms. Guaranteed. No questions at all. And Democrats won't be able to block it if you don't have the filibuster. But with the filibuster, nothing's going to get passed. Democrats don't care about people. They care about power. That's it. So with the filibuster gone, we would be able to ban men from women's bathrooms in sports. We'd be able to ban transitioning minors unopposed. But there will be backlash from the public for that. So I don't have a crystal ball. So I don't know how that would work with voters. Would they all be happy about it? How many independents wouldn't like that? How many would look at it as the Republicans being fascist that are independents and decide to vote for Democrats next year instead because of it, even with a good economy? I don't know. I don't know. Personally, I don't think we're going to get rid of the filibuster. I don't think the Republicans have the gonads to do it. And I do know that the Democrats are going to get rid of it if they win the Senate back. And I'll tell you right now, if the economy doesn't start showing up for people that are buying food, I don't want to hear how great Wall Street is. I don't want to hear how great everything is, how good the future looks. I want to see results when you click pay at the supermarket or anywhere else. That has to happen. So just my thoughts on that. Now right now I'm going to switch the camera back. I just wanted to say hi to everybody. So hello. Hi y'all. Get you back on the head cam. On this not very sunny day. Disappointing. Last night was cloudy again. We had an absolutely incredible geomagnetic storm last night and the night before. People in Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, you guys got a beautiful Northern Light show last night. Best one since May. And I got a new camera setting on a GoPro for night photography. I could have got some beautiful shots. But we had the damn clouds. Clouds last night, clouds yesterday, clouds the day before, clouds the day before that. It's been rainy, spitting raindrops right now. It would have been some nice shots. If I can manage to get some Aurora Borealis shots, I will tack them on at the beginning of the video in the future. Anyways, my friends, make sure I didn't lose. Couldn't find my crucifix. Thought it fell off somewhere. That's something I worry about. Walking and I lose my crucifix. I've been wearing 15 years now. Every day. Yeah, I could wear other ones. I got other crucifixes. But this one was a gift from somebody. And I love wearing it. So today is 40 degrees, which feels like spring right now. Have to tell you, after the little cold spell we had. So we do have winter coming. But today feels pretty nice. So I hope you know where I'm coming from on, you know, that's always what it is with elections, okay? It's the economy, stupid. And that's the truth. And it's going to be the driving factor between now and midterms. So if Republicans want to spend all their time during a bad economy, if people don't start seeing things at the supermarket change, then Republicans are not going to do well. You can spend all your time talking about men using the ladies' room, all this other stuff. It's not going to help, as we noticed with the election in Virginia. Spanberger in Virginia was at a debate televised statewide, had a lot of viewers. Winsome Sears, a black woman, lieutenant governor, was at the debate, and Spanberger was talking about food on the table issues, the economy. And Winsome Sears went after her more than once during the debate on the trans issue. Because at the time, when they ran, they won on that issue. They won on that issue. Because the economy was doing pretty well under Trump. And Biden was not doing well in the economy. So Spanberger didn't respond to those jabs about her previous comments about trans people using restrooms. So Winsome Sears misjudged the audience. And that should be a very important learning point for Republicans Because basically the voters did not give a fuck about that. They cared about being able to buy gas, food, paying the rent, paying for insurance, getting a car loan, getting a house mortgage. And currently, under the Trump economy, currently I say, okay, currently, getting a loan for your home is not easy. You're not getting a good car loan. The One Big Beautiful Bill is going to remedy a lot of that, where now you're going to be able to deduct your car purchase like rich people do. He was very careful to say that, okay? Problem is messaging. They're not getting that damn message out. Republicans are failing on communications with the public. Basically, even if people start getting good car loans and deductions, you need to tell people about it. The media is not going to do it, okay? They're just not. Media is not going to do it, okay? And we see some ducks down there on the water. At least I can. So when you refinance, well, not refinance, but you go and get a new vehicle under the next couple of years, 3 years, starting in January, okay? When the One Big Beautiful Bill kicks in, you're going to get a better interest rate, especially after May, when the Fed is expected to drop the interest rate. There's going to be a new Fed chair appointed by Trump, one that is actually going to lower rates intelligently. The guy we have now is afraid of his own shadow. They do everything with data in the rear view window instead of looking at through the windshield at the future. So we're going to have a different Fed chair, and things are going to open up with the economy. Combined with the One Big Beautiful Bill, it's going to be a really good thing. Guarantee you, if you take a couple hours and you type in One Big Beautiful Bill, you'll have the official .gov website for it, not the fake one that was made that has propaganda, okay? You know how the left plays dirty tricks. You'll see what's in it. Click on the summary tab and you will see what it does. A summary of what it's going to do. So people are going to be able to take a tax deduction on an automobile purchase on a loan they take. It's very important. People understand that. In fact, you can start telling people about it. It's going to take effect at the end of January. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So a lot of this stuff people are complaining about right now, at the end of the day, it's not going to be a big deal because the economy is going to improve. If it doesn't improve, then it's a big deal. It's bad, very bad, but it will. There's no way it can't, unless there's another pandemic or some other problem unforeseen, okay? So also you can combine that with annual dividend checks from tariffs. It's not going to be a one-time check. It's the same thing like if you have stocks and you get a dividend check. Usually they will accrue to the point where there's enough money to send to you if you only own like one stock. So I got a random check last year because of stock options. Not something I really keep track of, but you know, there are payouts. So anyway, you'll get a 1099 for your stock options. It's like a W-2, but it's a tax form. It'll either be enough you have to report it or not. Either way, you will get one. So, a lot of things are going to hinge on the economy for obvious reasons, you know. That's what affects everybody. Now, Trump knows he has a short window. Okay, he's got a limited time as president. We don't know what's going to happen in 2026, and we don't know what's going to happen in 2028. Could have really good nights on both of those, or really bad. So Trump knows he has a short window to take care of the tariffs and correct the trade imbalances we've had for decades, which have depleted our economy, sent our jobs overseas. NAFTA, remember NAFTA? North American Free Trade Agreement. Sent our jobs to Mexico, the Philippines, China, and we've been paying for that crap ever since. The automotive industry was dead, killed by Democrats and weak Republicans. Weak Republicans. George Bush could have taken care of this. Didn't have the intestinal fortitude or the political capital after the Iraq War. So these are all problems, self-created. Both parties. Trump's trying to fix it. And that's why I get very angry when I see 20% of MAGA turning on him, because he's not producing results fast enough. And he's doing things that a lot of people say are not America First policies. You can't get people to invest trillions of dollars in the United States without guaranteeing that they're going to have employees that they can afford and know what they're doing. And that's why I started out this walk talking about Toyota coming here as a prime example. And you got these AI companies that have been enticed to the United States. And if they don't get the option of having low-priced employees, they're not going to come here, even with tariffs. So they want to build here in the United States, and unfortunately we don't have the talent pool for all the you know, and again, that's messaging by the Trump administration. A lot of people are like, why aren't we going to hire American employees? That's not America First. Well, it's going to be hundreds and thousands of jobs, and they're not all going to be H-1B visa jobs. The H-1B visa jobs are for skilled jobs, people overseas that have the talent, and we don't have that talent. Trump has talked about that before. So, you know, the Trump administration needs to understand that they need to explain themselves, not just do it. I realize Trump likes to go 300 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone. I get it. But it doesn't help when people don't know what you're doing. I know what he's doing because I read about it. I researched it, and you know, I understand. I've read things. I get it. But when you're bringing in foreign employees in large numbers, people get upset about that. They don't understand the scale of the factory production that we're going to see. So to Trump, it's like, what are you talking about? We need these employees. We don't have enough American employees that know what they're doing. And when you haven't explained it well enough to the public, they're like, what are you talking about? Why are you taking a dump on American employees? That's not America first. So that's what's going on right now. And it's exacerbated by the internet influencer opportunists who are making money selling jugs. Mugs, jugs, shirts, things like that. So that's my viewpoint anyway. I know not everybody's going to agree with it. You're going to watch something you see on Fox News or CNN and say, well, that's not what they said. But that's what it is. Bottom line though, the one big beautiful bill does with the economy what I know it's going to. And these factories being built, which are going to take a couple of years to build. You know, may very well not open until after the election in 2028. Trump knows that. So they're going to have to get the message out that this is happening, it's all going to happen, and that it's not just smoke and mirrors. So it's going to be an important thing to get the one big beautiful bill going. People will start getting their own money back. That's a big deal. Deregulation of small business is going to set the economy on fire in the United States. Tariffs are not. But Trump realized that he had to get the tariffs under control. He had to get this investment into the United States as quickly as possible. And that's what he did. And that's why it seems like he's spending all his time on tariffs and trade, because the Trump economy and Republican economy are not in full swing yet. The one big beautiful bill doesn't take effect till next year. So you're going to have deregulation, big tax cuts, biggest tax cuts Americans have ever seen, okay? So you're going to get the doubled child tax credits, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax or a tax break on seniors when they have to file. And you're going to have all of these things going on. So just try to picture that. So tax cuts for everybody that's under a certain income. That's why they have to get the healthcare insurance prices down. They have to get car insurance prices down. Homeowners insurance prices have to come down. They have to do that. So lower inflation should take care of that. And then you're going to have insurance companies that are profiteering. So people may end up having to shop around for new insurance. And if you have that escrowed into your mortgage, that's going to be difficult to do, because that's going to change the escrow amount. And it's not a hassle-free and undertaking, okay? It's not. So prices need to come down across the board, which they will. So anyway, I'm expecting to see insurance prices go down, not up. And it's one of those things, once they go up, it's hard to get them down. So the government needs to stop subsidizing health insurance because they're taking advantage. Because there's no incentive for them to lower premiums. None. In fact, the more they increase them, the money is matched from tax dollars. And they have taken advantage of that. Some of their stocks have increased 1,200% since 2010, when Obamacare was implemented or unleashed on the world. So we got to hold steadfast, chin out, back straight, stick to the plan. And just keep in mind, a year from now, the economy is going to be completely different than it is now. By default, it's going to happen for sure. It'll be like Trump's first term on steroids. Deregulation is going to be a big part of it. It'll be easier for small businesses to grow, add workers, invest, and combined with good interest rates, there won't be any stopping the American economy. And Trump 2.0 is going to be an amazing thing. The problem Trump has right now is you can't make everybody happy. Tariffs have to be done. Our trade imbalance has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. We have to get these people to invest in the United States instead of overseas. And it's kind of like, look at it like England, for example, okay? England has auto plants. They make Cooper Minis, Mini Coopers. They have skilled workers. But if you were going to bring back the MG company, the TR7s and whatever else that they used to make, Triumph, you don't have the employees to do that. So if you're going to bring all these employees, companies into England all of a sudden overnight, and within a year or two they open a factory, you don't have trained employees. You're going to have to bring them in from somewhere else where they already know what they're doing. And that's what Trump's doing. And people don't understand why he's doing that. And it's a messaging problem. Trump administration needs to get on board with better messaging. A lot of people don't even understand what he's doing with tariffs. So they need somebody that's going to be able to get the message out so people understand it. And like I said, that's supposed to be the vice president's job. And right now, that's a failure on J.D. Vance's part. It is. He needs to step it up. You know, right now, J.D. Vance is a couple of putts away from the White House. And if he thinks it's just going to be given to him, he needs to earn it. People that think it's given to them end up like what happened to Kamala Harris. She was anointed, didn't earn it. DEI, didn't earn it. So, I can tell you right now, a lot of the donor class in DC, the donor class, that means people with money, okay, that donate to the Republican Party. Right now, they're not impressed with J.D. Vance. So, that's just a fact. They think he comes across as phony, fake. And we all saw what happened with a phony, fake candidate. Kamala Harris didn't get anywhere. And I saw current polling for Democrat candidates done by YouGov. Gavin Newsom is towards the bottom of the pile. So for all his running his mouth and making noise, he's from California. He's ruined California. He pushed woke politics. He's never going to escape that nationally. Pete Buttigieg has a 20-point lead on Gavin Newsom. And Pete Buttigieg hasn't even been in the news. So that's the reality of how that works. Pete Buttigieg is the leading candidate for the Democrats right now, according to polling. I shit you not. So, J.D. Vance is leading the Republican pack quite easily. And he is going to be the candidate. And it's going to be good because the economy, I'm serious, the economy is going to be on fire a year from now. It's only been, what, 10 months? 10 and a half months since they were sworn in. So a lot's happened. And if you want to look for some good news, Trump has better polling right now than Obama did in his second year, after his second term, after he was reelected. Obama's numbers were not very good. Stock market was doing terrible. The economy was bad. So Obama left office after 2 terms bragging about the stock market being over 19,000 after it had collapsed. Look at the great job we did. Right now it's over 40-something thousand, setting records. So it's just a matter of time. Hang in there, I guess, is my message from this walk. Things may seem a little bleak here and there, but you need to find the positives and build on them. And right now, it's messaging by Trump needs to improve. He needs to stop going on interviews and talking about how we need foreign workers more than we need American workers. What he should have done in that interview is we have to make sure we train our American employees, because right now we have a shortage of talent and we need to change that. And here's my plan to do it. See, Trump is getting all wrapped up in all this stuff because he's very busy. Very busy. He's doing stuff every day, okay? He's not slacking, and he's doing a good job. But his agenda is bigger than what he can do at the moment. And they took on a huge undertaking. They're redoing the entire country, okay? This has not been done since the 50s. So, it's long overdue. But when they started doing it in the 50s, it wasn't very popular either. Wow, look at all this money you're spending on national highway systems. Do we really need interstates? It turns out, yes, we did. Previously, the only way you could drive across the country or to other states was to use rural routes. And some of those roads had potholes. They only had 2 lanes, to and fro. Some of them even had dirt roads still. So that was a huge, huge investment. It cost an enormous amount of money. And it caused a lot of changes that people didn't like. The Brooklyn Dodgers moved to Los Angeles, for example, because you no longer needed the boroughs, the trains. People went to the Brooklyn Dodgers games on subway trains on Long Island. And as soon as you installed that highway, that changed everything. So they moved. Then you ended up having, because the Brooklyn Dodgers needed a new stadium and they didn't have the money for it. So Los Angeles offered a very lucrative deal, which obviously was a wise decision by Los Angeles. And then in the 60s, you ended up getting the New York Metropolitans to replace the Dodgers. That was closer to Jersey. And you had the highway system in by that point, so people could drive to the game. California already had a highway system where the Dodger Stadium is. So otherwise the Brooklyn Dodgers would still be there in Brooklyn. So changes happen because of economies, and Detroit, perfect example. In the 1960s, Detroit was the richest city in the world. You had the giant American automotive industry, and look what happened to it. So that's what NAFTA did, finished off Detroit. You ended up having all those homes. People that used to work in the auto industry, they got turned into crack houses, and they're still abandoned today. 10,000 homes. Sitting there, rotting. And, friggin' Bill Clinton, after he was president, and Hillary Clinton wanted to bring all of these Middle Eastern migrants, and they wanted taxpayers to rebuild all these houses in Detroit, and they were going to house all of these Middle Eastern migrants. That's what Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton wanted to do. It's not really talked about, but you can research that. If Hillary Clinton would have got elected instead of Trump, she had talked about that. They were going to rebuild thousands of these homes to house Middle Eastern refugees, and it would all been on tax dollars, and it would still be on tax dollars today. So that's how important it was electing Trump in his first term, and people seem to forget that stuff. So people like me need to remind you why you voted for Trump in the first place, and that hasn't changed. Trump got interrupted by the Biden nightmare, and that's why Trump is going hella fire right now. And you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. So they need to get better messaging, I guess, is my point today, as I've stated already. We've got a bright future coming. Very bright future for everyone, big or small. We'll get there, my friends. We shall get there. Now, today is a walk I'll upload. Today's walk will be decent. It's raining right now, by the way. Lightly, albeit, but raining nonetheless. Oh, dead squirrel. Didn't make it. Oh. His head got crushed. You can see his teeth and his jaw there. Oh, poor thing. At least it was quick. If you're squeamish, I'm sorry about that. Well, you get to see what I see. Little squirrel was trying to get fat before winter. It didn't look very fat. Maybe nature just worked itself out. As cruel as that is to say. Got a pretty good sweat going right now. Needed to have a good walk today. Last night's walk was not good. My mind wasn't right for it. My back wasn't right for it. My muscles were all tight, stiff. Had a difficult time. And I was carrying the selfie stick instead of having the camera on my head. And this time of year, I gotta have the camera on my head or on my chest at night so it doesn't rock back and forth too much. On my head it does too much seesaw at night. So anyways, my friends, about a mile and a half left today on this walk. But yeah, if the Democrats want to spend all their time talking about Epstein files, which I want to talk about that too, because, you know, the Democrats force Republicans to clean up behind their mess all the time. And Epstein file emails came out from the Epstein estate, which the Democrats managed to get through the use of lawyers and legal proceedings. They forced the Epstein estate to release files. Now the Democrats are going to selectively leak. Selectively, right? There's like 28,000 emails. They have selectively leaked 3 of them that quote unquote implicate Trump. That already got debunked in less than a day, which is what I love about the social media now. Less than a day, their narrative was debunked. And this is also the reason why Trump filed all these lawsuits. And CBS, CNN, ABC, and he won all of them because they're fabricating news. Defamation. You can't make shit up. And you can't report half of it out of context to make it look like something else. So, we had the Epstein email come out yesterday, where Epstein is talking about Donald Trump in a bad way, saying that Trump was alone with, redacted, says victim. So the version the Democrats released, it was redacted and said victim. Trump was alone with the victim for several hours in Epstein's place. in New York. Now you hear that and you're like, oh geez, Trump is fucking a minor in Epstein's pad, alone with her for hours. She's a victim. The name was redacted. This must be a new victim. Oh my fucking lord, Trump, what are you fucking doing? Well, it turns out it was the girl that was living in Australia that ended up committing suicide. Virginia Roberts Guthrie. She gave a sworn deposition in the past in a lawsuit, and she gave a sworn deposition saying that she and Trump never did anything. Trump was never inappropriate to her. Nothing ever happened between her or any other victim that she could see involving Trump. Trump was just friends with Epstein. So guilty by association. Just so happens Trump runs for president and wins. And now emails from 2011 look bad. And I want to remind you that the Democrats had the opportunity to get all of this stuff out when they were trying to lock Trump up for life, and nobody bothered. So there was nothing in there important enough for these people to do anything with. And now they are selectively editing and selectively releasing juicy gossip, redacting names that aren't redacted. So the Democrats are redacting names of people that have already said Trump didn't do anything wrong to make it look like it's a new victim. Absolutely dirty, dirty, dirty cheap trick. It got brought out pretty quickly and debunked as being Virginia Guthrie. Fox News showed the original email that was unredacted, and it was in fact Virginia Guthrie. So CNN was forced to say, on tonight's Jake Tapper, we're going to talk about the new potentially salacious emails released by the Democrats today, which we know Trump was never accused of anything, of any crimes, and as far as we know is not guilty of anything. So now they have to legally disclose that when they start talking about them. And that was the purpose of the lawsuits Trump filed and won. Now these news media companies are going to have to pay money when they make shit up. So now they are disclosing legally that it was Virginia Guthrie and not a new victim, and then they have to say that Virginia has already stated that Trump did nothing illegal or improper in her presence to her or anybody else. And that's why it was debunked in less than a day. So if the Democrats want to spend all their time playing dirty politics like that instead of talking about the economy, I thought the Democrats got good traction talking about the Affordable Care Act during the shutdown. They actually got the attention of people because people were actually talking about it, and they're like, wow, look how much the insurance companies are ripping us off. Tax dollars. You were getting Republicans and Democrats interested in that, and Republicans and Democrats talking with each other to actually come up with something that works. So now the Democrats have gone off into the Epstein hole again. Because they want to get rid of Trump. They think they can take down Trump with the Epstein files. You know, that dog just doesn't hunt. It just doesn't. Nobody gives a fuck about it. You know, if the goal of the Democrats is to win midterms, then the Epstein files is really, literally a waste of time. Trump's not running for office again, so it's fucking pointless. Yeah, all right, you said he was a dictator, a Nazi, a rapist, all this other stuff. And that didn't win you 2024. The economy did. Trump won on the economy. And by the time midterms come next year, the economy is going to win it for Republicans again. And if the Democrats want to spend all their time talking about Epstein, then so be it. Let them. Go ahead. Go right the fuck ahead. So from that aspect, things couldn't be better, really. We just need to wait for the economy, my friends. We need to wait for the one big beautiful bill to be big and beautiful, which it will. I am here to give you hope when things seem like they're slumping, because they're actually not. And that's another reason why I like these walks, because it gives me a chance to talk about all this stuff and reaffirm my own beliefs or doubts. But Trump needs to stop talking about this H-1B visa employees and saying things like we don't have skilled workers. He needs to phrase that differently. That was really terrible on his part. That was an unforced fumble, okay? He should have known better than that. It's like he's forgetting what America First in his agenda is. Now, I know in his head, that's what he's doing. He's doing this because he knows he needs to have these employees to make these investments in America work, so we get all these factories and people have all these jobs. So that's going to be jobs for everybody. He knows that because he's always thinking ahead. But people need to hear good news now when they're paying $10 a pound for beef, which is what lobster cost, okay? Just to put that in perspective. And now you have a tariff on Italian pasta that's going to be kicking in. So pasta made in Italy is going to double in price, okay? So we have pasta that's made here. Some people like the pasta made in Italy. Barilla, for example, okay? It's made in Italy. It's inexpensive pasta. I like buying that pasta. But when those tariffs kick in with Italy, it's a 107% increase. That is a little more than double the increase in cost. People aren't going to buy it. But pasta that's made in the United States, it's not going to be affected by that. And like I've said before, the real problem is you have something made in Italy, goes up 107%, and then you have an American-made one. The American-made one is going to increase their prices to profiteer, to profit off that. They'll still be lower than the increased price of the imported stuff, but it's still going to be inflated prices. And that is the danger with that. Also, the other aspect is there aren't very many pasta companies that I would consider fantastic pasta made in the United States. So it may be cheaper, but it's already cheaper because it's cheap. It's not good pasta. And I checked my cupboard. I have some great value spaghetti I bought just because it had a good price. You know, it was 98 cents for a box, a 1 pound box of spaghetti. And it tastes pretty good. I looked on the box, it said made in Italy. Made in Italy. So, is that going to be $2 a box now? See what I'm saying? So, you know, they need better messaging. And what has really upset voters is one day in the news is this tariff. Literally 2 days later, Trump changes his mind. It's another tariff, a different amount. Nobody knows what stuff is going to cost. And when you have uncertainty, voters do not like uncertainty. So they need to change their messaging. Because right now the messaging from the Trump administration is shit. And I'll be the first one to say it. And you're not going to get too many bigger Trump fans than me. Their messaging is shit. Thanks. A big old fresh steaming bucket of shit. And J.D. Vance needs to work harder. He does a lot. I'm not saying he's slacking. I'm just saying he needs to focus more on the message. Maybe things are so chaotic he doesn't know what the message is. You know, that might be a problem. They might have to sit down and come up with a communication problem. Solve. It's like the kids are all enjoying recess, having fun. So up ahead here, I'll switch to the other camera, sign off with you. Hope you're having a good week. Tomorrow's Friday. Time to enjoy the weekend. Oh, you got it? He asked me if I could get that ball. I got a ball over here on the grass, but I don't know if it belongs to this house or the school. I don't want to throw it over the fence. Well, good walk today. I enjoyed it. Now, when you walk every day, you'll have days that are kind of a lull. Like with anything else. You know, I love playing guitar. Sometimes I pick it up and play and it's just not there that day, you know? That happens with everything. See, people have their snowplow markers out. Fiberglass rods with reflectors on them, or just sticks like up ahead here with the tops painted a fluorescent color. And this dog here is still going. This dog was out here for the longest time, and now we don't see him out here. I don't know if something happened to him, but these markers are here for people that plow the snow, so they can see where the turn is, because there's no sidewalks. And in the past, people have taken up the lawn with their plows. So that's the purpose of those. And for your information, that pole right there where I found that yellow shirt that somebody wrote karma on, and they wedged it on that electronic box with a stick so it would be seen. I never heard back from the police department on that. I sent them a picture of it with an email saying it's probably nothing, which it probably was. But it's just odd to have a shirt that says karma. It's actually that pole right here on that electronic box. So I had a young girl's shirt that said karma, hand scribbled on it with a marker, pinned on that box. And you would think, look at this, somebody did this to this car on purpose with the back wheel sticking out. That's a style. They lowered the car as low as it will go. Looks horrible, but it's a $200 car. The busted taillight. I'm sure they have an exhaust on it rigged to sound loud. A fart can, coffee can exhaust. So anyway, across the street up here in case that dog's out. He hasn't been barking at me lately, but I don't feel like dealing with that while I'm trying to sign off. But took the time to talk with that dog and be nice to him, and he stopped charging at me. Now he just sits there, doesn't do anything. It's like, now I'm okay. I'm just gonna stop and say hi. I said, hi dog, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? And the dog was all happy. I'm not a threat. Well, it's raining again. The road's almost getting wet. Just kind of a shower. Wouldn't really call it rain. No, he's not out there today anyways. But I am going to switch the cameras around now. So I'll be right back. Alright, hey everybody. So my friends, click like and subscribe, share the content, and say a prayer for Trump and the country, and pray that Trump finds a way to communicate better to his voters, his base. Explain why you're doing things so it doesn't look as bad as some of them. Alright my friends, I did something wrong and it stopped recording before I was done. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you thank you very much for walking with me today. Click like and subscribe, share the content. This one got a low battery. I thought I brought the other battery with me and I didn't. So I didn't record with this that much, and it still said half the battery's left, but it's going through something. Anyways, click like and subscribe, share the content, say a prayer for Trump and the country, and say a prayer that the Trump administration finds a way to communicate what's going on better with the public. Because I think that's all they need is, right now they got a communication problem on the economy. He needs to communicate everything he's doing on the economy. Anyways, my friends, we'll see you later. Thank you very much for walking with me today. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon on the next walk. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.